Most people in the world like stories. I think stories are something that humans all have in common. We all find ourselves in stories, and we find ourselves attached to stories. The Science Fiction and Fantasy Research Collection is one of the largest collections of its kind in the entire world. Books and pulp magazines and nonfiction books and scholarly journals and archival collections and objects and comic books and games and audiovisual materials, all kinds of stuff relating to science fiction and fantasy. Every story was read. Every story meant something to somebody. The collection's kind of a living record of what joy and what importance people attach to stories. Science fiction is really, what it really does well is look at the present, what world we're living in now, through the lens of the future. What kind of world do we want to live in? Who are we as people? How do we react to things? How do we live with each other? How do we react to each other? So it's important to have that on record. That's a record of who we are and what we think about things. That's why we collect it.
As I scrambled down the sandy slope, I could hear Mensa over the emergency comm channel, yelling at someone to get the hopper in the air now. They were about 10 kilos away, working on their part of the island, so there was no way they were going to get here in time to help. I'm a science fiction and fantasy writer. My first book came out in 1993. When you're first starting out, especially in a creative field like this, it can be really difficult to keep your confidence. Cushing really helped me with that. Going to the collection reminds me why it's fun and why I wanted to do this so badly when I was younger. They would invite authors to come and see it and to talk to them about donating their manuscripts and papers. That was kind of a sign that you were really a real author.
Most of the materials we acquire are donated. The question I probably answered the most, like, why is George R. R. Martin's stuff here? There is an organization on campus called Cepheid Variable. It's a student group. Every year they ran an event called AggieCon, which was the largest and longest running student-run science fiction convention in the country. Harlan Ellison and Anne McCaffrey and Neil Gaiman and people like that. And George R. R. Martin would come. He made friends here and he liked the area and he liked the library. Our director at the time went to him and suggested, you're a well-known author. Have you thought about what you want to do with your papers, your manuscripts and things? And he came back a few years later and said, yeah, let's do it. He likes A&M and he's been giving us materials ever since then.
I was a member of Cepheid Variable, which at that time was a science fiction and fantasy student committee. The things that Cepheid had, like we had signed movie posters and other stuff that were just kind of stored not very well and were starting to go missing. And so we donated a lot of that stuff to Cushing, just so it'd be a little bit more protected.
Today we're going through our storage unit. We have stuff leading all the way back from the 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way back to when Cepheid was started in 1969. We wanted to get it here to Cushing, donate what we can. Seeing these worlds come out of people's minds and being able to learn more about them, I think that's really neat. It's in no way like the world we're living in now, and it kind of adds that creative aspect. And for that, it really focuses on embracing the mind's imagination.
Yeah. Oh, neat. I don't know what that is. NPO of the month.
Growing up, I actually didn't get to interact with very many people involving to sci-fi. How diverse it is and how many different types of things could be classified as sci-fi. Anyone can get into it, really. Having such a big community of people that I can get along with and talk about the things that I like has made me a much happier person, honestly.
Literature is how we as humans express ourselves. We express our emotions, our values, our ideas, what we think about the world, what we think the world should be. And we do a lot of it through these fictional lenses. We do it through novels and short stories and movies and television. And I mean, science fiction has always been a particularly interesting way of doing that. We have a very high degree of access. There are a lot of institutions that are much more careful about who they let in. It's your property. All I do and all of my colleagues do with our stuff, we're just holding it for you and taking care of it. I don't think any archivist or curator should be deciding that your research is important enough that we can let you in. You're here, use our stuff. That's what it's for.